lot of we get bus tours that come through, so a lot of that stuff, usually both are piled into one day.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no.
I'll get to that in a sec. We'll talk a bit about the resort and kind of what we're. Yes, you as well. I like that you guys get to wear pinstripe aprons now. We had to wear the white waist show off your gut.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for coming today. Weather is always a challenge this time of year, so we always appreciate having a big turnout. We get to chat with the class and get to know you guys a little bit, and you'll get to know us and what we do and what brought us here. So, as Adele mentioned, Matt's our banquet chef, so we'll talk to you specifically about the banquet operation a bit. Patrick is our Lakeside restaurant manager, also a culinary grad from NSCC, but has since transitioned more to front of house, and he'll talk about that as well. And then I'm in human resources. Tiffany is my name, and so I'm always involved. I'll probably, be back each year just to get to know the students in the program and tell you a bit about our awesome property. So, basically how we're gonna chat with you this morning is I'll just start off just by giving everybody a bit of an overview of the property, just to familiarize you a bit with it. So you each have a property map in front of you, and that was current as of last year. And there'll be some changes coming to that within the next year as well, which is very exciting. We'll talk a bit about that too. So, I guess, actually, even before I get into that, how many of you, or were any of you in attendance at the presentation last year when we were here, or are you all?
They're all new class.
Brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, great. And how many of you are from Cape Breton? Yeah, okay, great. And how many from like mainland Nova Scotia? Or outside of Nova Scotia? Cool.
Yeah.
And where are you guys from?
New Brunswick.
New Brunswick?
Yeah, from New Brunswick, so like around Mission Park to.
Nice. Great. And anybody outside of the country, or is it, I think that accounted for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And so I guess, just before we really get into the presentation today, we're gonna talk about like the Inverary, what we do, but we also kind of want to hear from you too. So we wanted to just start off by getting a sense from each of you, anybody who's willing to volunteer, just to tell us a bit about what you envision for a co-op experience. What is important to you? What are you really seeking when you go to a place for your co-op?
I guess, just, good hands-on, get the full experience and walk away feeling that you took on some new skill, I guess.
Right on. Awesome. Great. Anyone else have anything additional that they would? Yeah.
Being able to learn what a lot of the people do there and being able to apply it in the same area.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. Anybody else thought about their experiences and?
Anybody looking to travel abroad with their for their placement? Yeah, you guys are looking to
Placement.
get some.
You travel with these, with seasons, or?
Well, I mean, so a lot of times with a place, like Inverary, like myself, my experience is mainly with golf courses, so it's seasonal. So I spent a season at Celtic Lodge, not with these gentlemen coming up, but that's where they work as well. So, you spend a season, then you get the opportunity to either travel somewhere else or do what most people do, stay at home and collect EI. It's your choice, but I mean, some people, I know when we went through it, they wanted to do their placement, outside of Nova Scotia. Some people like to stay close to home, you might have family. So yeah, just trying to get an idea, like, are you guys, is anyone familiar with Bedeque as a town? Like, have you just traveled there? Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I know the
Kinda, sorta.
pizza
Yeah.
spot that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Tom's Pizza, yeah.
Yeah, right on,
Yeah, Bedeque it's a small community, but it's a pretty mighty tourism community. Lot of great, we're the only resort, but there's a lot of other big hotel operations. There's a lot of cool food and beverage stuff happening in and around Bedeque. I'm sure some of you have probably heard of the Bite House.
Yellow Cello's good.
Yellow Cello's been there forever. The Freight Shed is a new one that's, really making waves. So there's a lot of cool stuff, and it's such a hub of the island for tourism that it just becomes, as Adele well knows, it just becomes a bustling
Yeah.
little town. Like, I don't know what the population becomes when it's full of tourists, but
Mhm.
it's gotta like quadruple because
Oh,
summers
easy.
are so
For a small
Yeah.
town, it's really.
really
And a really
is.
big like yachting culture, boating and sailing, so that's,
Yeah.
I felt like I was living in a postcard really, and
Yeah, you
I was
do.
only 40 minutes from home,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
40 minutes from Marguerite, but it was like, yeah, felt like
That
a
was like me
postcard,
too. I'm
yeah.
from Sydney. I've been to Bannack a bunch.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually used to golf at Bell Bay, but until kind of joining the team and throwing myself right into the town, I didn't realize how
Mhm.
cool of a tight knit community it is. And I think that's part of what separates us from some of these other resorts that you might be looking at or restaurants.
Bedeck is also very cool because, if you come to work and you stay in Bedeck, you're in a community where you've got everything. So, everything is within a walk away, so it's very convenient to be someone like renting or living in Bedeck. So, yeah, it's a great little community that we've all, none of us are actually from there, but we now all kind of call it home in one way or another, right?
Well, the bank, the liquor store, the grocery store, just one little circle there. Yeah, you're good.
Priorities, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're chefs, right?
In no particular order, yeah.
Yeah.
How many students do you normally take on, like when the season kicks in?
Yeah, we would like to at least have like 4 or 5 on the team. Like, we want to reserve positions for students because we feel that we do create a really great learning environment, and we'll kind of flow you through, like, kind of give you the vibe of what we are and what makes us special. Because we really pride ourselves in our team, and we're not just another resort, like, we really are a family there. So that is an element that you may not get at other places, where you will feel very at home and get to know everybody, and it's a real we all kind of band together to accomplish different things throughout the season. So it's a really neat place for you to be able to reach out and challenge yourself in different ways, because we're always looking for people who are flexible and wanting to get some cool new experiences, and doing it on a pretty resort doesn't hurt either. So. So, I guess we'll kind of get into talking about the resort a bit. So, what you're seeing in front of you, this is the conference center down here. And this is just a view from the big Argyle Lodge, which is this one right in the middle of the property. So it's kind of, the view is like looking down this way towards the water. And yeah, we have over 100 guest rooms right now. So that can range from, very simple style rooms to suites. We have a lot going on the property, and some of this stuff actually would extend to all of you as employees as well. So we have an adventure center where we rent out kayaks and paddle boards and canoes and tubes and a pontoon boat, and so any of our employees can use the non-motorized equipment. We have a brand new spa, so that just went in last year, where they do everything from facials to manicures to hair to, it's pretty full service now, massage.
Very nice.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Pool, brand new.
Deep tissue.
Deep tissue, yeah, you need a lot of that. Pool just got redone last year, so it's basically a brand new space. An indoor and an outdoor hot tub. So the outdoor one's pretty cool at this time of year. We have the restaurant, Lakeside Restaurant, and you'll see a picture coming up of that. The conference center, so that's kind of like the main hub of the property, or those buildings. We really see people from around the world, so it's interesting when we think about our cuisine or culinary experience that we want to offer to guests, because while we're in Cape Breton and we want to offer a lot of local stuff, people are also looking for things that are a bit familiar as well. So we find ourselves in the middle, I would say, of exploring a little bit, pushing the boundary a little bit, but maybe doing it in a local way. So it's kind of a neat bridge between the two. And as you can see, we're building a brand new main lodge this year sometime. We'll be breaking ground very soon. So we lost our main lodge a couple of years ago in a devastating fire, which took our pub and our restaurant at the time. So we've since transitioned our restaurant operations down to the lakeside, which was like a meeting space at the time. But as you'll see in the next slide, it's an absolutely astounding venue. It's right on the water, like you couldn't imagine a more beautiful venue in Cape Breton. And, you know, that's a place that you could call home, so. Any questions about this before we move on to the next slide? Okay, cool. All right, Lakeside Restaurant. I'm gonna kind of turn it over to Pat for this part, and he'll talk more about the property, or the location, and about his experiences too.
So my name is Patrick, I'm the Lakeside manager. I just finished my first season with the company. And like Tiffany was saying about the picturesque and the venue itself, as you can see in this picture, we have an outdoor deck. And this deck comes right down onto this little cove, so it's all next to the water. And in here we seat up to about 140 guests. And when you're sitting, all you can see is water. You see like birds and eagles come down, and we have ships and yachts and that pull up to our dock, and people unload and come into the dining room and eat. It's a really neat atmosphere. But with it being brand new, as they lost their main dining room a few years ago, and this one here became the new one. And I kind of call it like a new birth because it's absolutely beautiful.
Brand new equipment.
And brand new. That's what I'm gonna get into next. As a chef myself.
Apologies.
It is exciting.
Yeah, as a chef myself and to my fellow chefs, working in the industry, there's very rare times that you get to work into a restaurant that has brand new equipment. 9 times out of 10, it's either falling apart or held together with duct tape. This kitchen is absolutely brand new. From the floors, the walls, to all the equipment, stoves, steamers, and our kitchen is fully loaded, top notch. We have a fully loaded line with 2 hot passes and a cold pass, tons of refrigeration behind our line, and the whole stove area. We have flat tops, grills, and we have 12 or 14 burners, 2 deep fryers, a steamer, and a big convection oven, and 3 lowboys. It's a big kitchen, it's a big line, and it's amazing. So with that being said, we are kind of in the process right now. Last year our menu was kind of our introductory menu. It was the first year that the restaurant was open. So this year we started with a brand new menu and we expanded it. So anybody coming on to my team this year will be able to kind of work with me to tweaking our menu and kind of implementing their ideas. And as being a student at one point, and I kind of am still in my career, still a student and learning, being able to pick brains of other students and other people to input in on that menu is kind of a big thing for me. We have menu itself, everything is scratch made, everything, we don't buy anything in. The odd thing like mayonnaise and ketchup is basically all we buy in. And we bring in fresh herbs, we bring in fresh vegetables, our fridges are always stocked. And there's a lot of opportunity in there for specials. So every night I run a nightly special of a main and an appetizer and sometimes a dessert. We also run drink specials. I put that on my bartenders to use their minds to, you know, come up with specials every night. And with that, I have this rule of just kind of going in and just finding something, go in, pick protein, and elaborate on that and use your own brains to figure it out. I kind of have this thing about no Google. Don't use Google. Use your palate. Some palettes are new, some palettes are not new. I don't like to use Google unless it's looking for a recipe kind of, but I like to walk into a fridge and just come up with something. So that's kind of what I'm looking for from my placement students if they come to work with us, is someone that has a good mind and wants to input their own skills and enhance their skills.
Do you have a question? Okay.
Oh.
I thought I saw your hand cut.
Anyway, I'm very excited about my menu coming up this year because, like I said, it's brand new. I've done a ton of menus, but this one I'm really excited for. And I've also recently, I know, do you guys learn about costing and stuff like that? Like costing
I
menus
think
and
that's
stuff?
more
In the management year,
More in the
yeah, in
management
their
year?
second year,
Okay.
if they choose to.
If
Yeah.
they choose to. So that is something I do practice. I have an open book policy. I like to kind of put numbers with things because it is good, okay, to make a menu, but not having a properly costed menu will end up flunking in the end. So I kind of allow my staff to kind of get that knowledge of why we pair this with this and why we can't put this with that.
And that's a huge skill to hone in on, because that'll give you guys advantages wherever you go moving forward.
Yeah.
If you can walk into a restaurant and say, hey, I've done costing, and I can tell you exactly what this dish cost us to make and what we're gonna make from it. It's not that hard. It's a couple of easy equations. It sounds, sorry.
It's okay.
Sounds intimidating,
No, it is.
but
Yeah, yeah.
he'll dumb it down for you, and
Yeah.
he's very good with those
Yeah.
numbers and details.
It's one of my
so.
strong suits, and sometimes I get a little too meticulous, like a grain of salt. Anyway, enough with the menu and stuff like that, but I want to move on to a couple tasks before I turn it over to Matt. Is our team environment. I've been in this career for 15 years now. I was in the kitchen, and now I moved to the front of house, and now I'm total running the restaurant. This is the best team that I've ever worked with. I'm not just saying that because I work there. We've right from the very top to the CEO and the CFO of the company, right down through the whole chain. Everybody gets along. There's no closed door policies. Everybody jumps in. We have Scott McCauley, who's the owner of this resort and company, will jump in and do dishes or clear tables and stuff like that. There's no that's not my job or anything like that. Everybody just jumps in, and that's my practice. With a lot of restaurants, you have front of house and back of house, and they're two separate entities. In my restaurant, it's not. Everybody kind of works together. None of this fighting back and forth. If a server needs help out on the floor, a cook or a dishwasher will run out and help bus tables, and the waitresses will help out in the kitchen where they can. And we do make it part of our that's very tight on teamwork. We don't allow
Yeah, we.
we don't allow negativity. We don't allow bullying. We're very hard on that. We know what the industry is like, so why add more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For the learning environment, like I said earlier, I want my staff to be included in everything. We have a lot of minds that work there. A lot of our managers have been worked through the different, myself, Matt, we started back 500 years ago, I think. So we've grabbed a lot on our way, and we like to share. And not even just Matt and I, everybody across the property has a lot of knowledge that they don't mind sharing. Opportunities. The Inver Resort is forever growing, always. Like we said, we have a brand new restaurant. We're about to build a brand new building, which will also include a small food and beverage venue in it, which is super exciting. It keeps growing. The deck keeps growing. It's just blowing up. So with that, you get to learn. You get to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different contacts, different produce people, meeting all the people that we buy our meats from, our fish from, fishermen, and a lot of these people allow you to pick their brains as well, making contacts to help you further your career. Tiffany already talked about our staff perks. We do offer a lot. We do our spa, there's discounts at our spa, a local boutique, golfing, our boathouse. We also do monthly staff appreciation and team building days. We have barbecues, and last year we had a couple of them, and they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Everybody gets involved. And I also do monthly challenges and competitions. So a lot of it is for my servers because they drive my sales, but I do some stuff in the kitchen as well. Who comes up with the most ideas, and I reward them at the end of the month, whether it be gift cards or stuff like that. And we also always have, no matter whether you're working or not working, we give 50% off of our food. Most places won't do that, but I want everybody to eat our food. You're making it, you're cooking it, so I'd rather you eat the food than be just given chicken fingers and fries.
And also then you can talk about it to other people. That's why we encourage all of our staff to kind of engage with all of the services, the adventure center, the spa, golfing, because then you can take that and talk to other people about your experience. And it is about a complete experience when you work with us. And just kind of snowballing off of what Pat said too about the no bullying and all that stuff. We've taken a pretty serious stand on that. But we also encourage people to express their individuality at the resort, and we're a very open-minded bunch, and we appreciate people's differences, because ultimately that's how we are going to connect with our guests. They're all going to be very different coming through the doors from different walks of life, from different places in the world, and if they can see one little piece of individuality in someone that maybe they can relate to, that's gonna enhance their experience. And we can all learn from that, so we try to incorporate that mindset into everything we do too.
And just before I finish up, just talking on how Verdacula is like so close knit. We may be the only resort, but like we partner with all the other businesses in town as well. At the beginning of my season, I go out to all the B&Bs, and we kind of like, we'll send guests back and forth. If we don't have enough rooms, we'll send them over to the B&B. The B&Bs will send them over to my place for breakfast, because they can't really run a full breakfast at their B&B because it's so small. So they send them to us. And like even like we run out of canola oil someday, and we call the restaurant down the road, and they'll send it up to us, or we'll send it down to them. It's very like, everybody all works hand in hand. It's a great place. Yeah. That's it for me. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Red Seal, new staff?
We have one red seal, and we're working on getting a couple more. Yeah. I don't have my red seal.
Do you just have like accommodations for anyone that's working there?
We do have connections in the village, so generally if you're wanting to come, work at the property, we could refer you to someone within the village that, and basically you could rent a room from them possibly, or an apartment. And then in some circumstances, if there might be a need, for like someone to stay overnight, if they have to work, say like super late, and then be back in first thing in the morning for like a breakfast shift or something, then if we had space in the property, we might, like make an allowance for something like that through a manager.
Yeah, which I've done that a lot for my staff. If I notice that the work I have them heavily scheduled, I'll usually work with the front desk manager and put them up for a couple days. Yeah.
And we drive from Sydney, most days, but some days, there's a late dinner service and you're doing breakfast the next morning. They don't want us, driving home in a rainstorm or nothing like that.
Yeah.
They'll take care of us. And since I've only been here the one season, but I haven't seen anybody have a problem if they did want an apartment. You know everybody in town, right?
Well,
So
that's, again, with that hand in hand, like
Yeah.
we know everybody, and
Yeah.
I will say there has been, on my team alone, there has never been any issues with anybody finding
No.
accommodation or carpooling with people. Alright.
Alright, we'll shift gears a bit. So my name's Matt. I actually was in your shoes right here in this program under Chef Joel. I finished in 2013. Since then, I've kind of jumped across the country and a bit abroad, working in different restaurants. My experience is mainly in the type of restaurant that Patrick is working in, on the line, and busy, like late night service, lunch, supper, and everything. And then the opportunity to be the banquet chef at Inverary came up. And I'd actually never done service like that. I'd never done weddings or like huge numbers and stuff like that. So it was kind of foreign to me. Getting kind of bored of the same old routine, so I decided to take it on, and it's been like a whole new kind of learning stepping stone for me. So that's where I'm at, because you go from, if you're working at a fine dining restaurant, from serving 30-ish, 40 people a night, all of a sudden we're serving 250 in 5 minutes, kind of thing. So it's just a massive difference. So I think that's one of the biggest things you guys would get from coming to work with us, is not only would you get the experience on the line working with, fresh local ingredients. Whenever I'm getting slammed at Banquet Center, well, and vice versa, we'll send the staff. Patrick comes in, he's helped me make my sandwiches. Tiffany comes in, does my dishes. Like, we all have this tight knit group. And this year our team wasn't that big, so we had to kind of be there for each other. The fact that you could get the kind of the banquet experience as well as the line experience, I think that's a huge advantage for you guys. It took me 12 years to get into it, but anyways, that being said, congrats to you guys for picking a pretty sweet career. There's a lot you can do with it, and that's why I was kind of asking if he's wanting to travel or stick around home. It's up to you guys. There are restaurants everywhere in the world, right? So you can literally do whatever you want, right? I think we already mentioned Patrick, so I did my work placement at Celtic Lodge. Quite a different kind of, at least, and that's who you're gonna hear from these guys next. The food-wise, it's pretty different service. I wouldn't say, I don't know if they consider it fine dining, maybe they do. At least when I was there, we didn't really. But them compared to kind of what we're doing more like comfort, like, at least with the banquet center, we're doing homemade comfort sort of food. You're not gonna be doing swishes and dots and foams and stuff like that, if that's what you're looking for. But, like Patrick said, we are working on, you know, building that menu. We got these new things coming. There's talks about, you know, doing food trucks, there's talks about doing fine dining, there's talks about doing private dining, so the road is kind of wide open for us right now, and whoever comes on, if he's considerate, he's good to be a part of that, which I think is pretty cool too. And like Tiffany said, the owners, the CFO and the CEO, they are the nicest people you'll ever work for. I've worked in a lot of restaurants, and you usually don't see those guys. You know, you don't even talk to them, but like we said, they're right next to us in the thick of it. If we need their help, they're coming in and helping us. And then if you do good work, they'll pay you for it. And you know, if there's an opportunity to move up, I know you guys are just finishing, or just in your first year, but there's opportunity to grow. And all these other places around the island, they'll stick you with a salary or a wage, and you're stuck there, right? The more you take on here, they're gonna pay you for it. I know for me, that's an important thing. So, you know, the more you take on, the better it's gonna be for all of us.
They recognize your work very quickly.
Exactly, and we have the new places coming, so, I mean, you're looking for, I think, 1 leader in your kitchen,
I am looking for a restaurant chef right now, yeah.
and then how many other cooks? 4 or 5?
4 or 5, probably up to 6 for the restaurant.
We have a pretty decent return on our kind of solid staff from last year as well, so we'll have a continuation from a number from last year that are all very welcoming and supportive people. So we had a few students last year that they kind of, you know, our return staff really led by example for these individuals and worked with them. It wasn't me versus you, it's we're in this kitchen together, so that was really important. All right, anything else?
I think that's just about it. I mean, yeah, the road, you guys literally get to choose wherever you want to go. I don't know if you've realized that yet, but every restaurant needs good cooks, so.
Tell us a little bit about your role after the Celtic. What do you do after the Celtic?
Oh my God, I'll be here all day if I start talking about it.
It's normal. It's normal.
So when I finished at Celtic, I went home and I worked at Flavor for a little bit before my father gave me the boot. And then me and a friend of mine who was also a chef, we bought an RV together and toured across the country, kind of working in different restaurants in every province sort of thing. And that kind of got old, so I came back home and 4 girlfriends later, I found a job at, I worked, 2 summers ago, I worked at Cabot Links. Spent a season there as a sous chef, and then they sent us to New Zealand overseas. So we got to spend a season there, and came home and saw this opportunity, and I mean, I'm going back, so I think that says a lot. So, yeah.
Did you work for the restaurant on the course itself or the pub just outside?
So the course owns all of them, but I was running Cabot Bar, the restaurant right on the 18th green.
Okay, cool.
But similar to us, if you work in one of them, you're kind of working in all 3. Yeah, that's why I said, like, the road is your guys to choose, right? But if you have a good set of skills leaving here, if traveling is what you want to do, you can literally walk into any place and say, yo, here's my resume. Or just let me in the kitchen, let me show you, you know what I mean? And you're not going to learn that better than what we're doing here. We're doing everything from scratch, and, you know, you get the 2 opposite sides of.
I thought you were gonna say the dynamic duo.
Well, yeah, that too, right? No, but you get the 2 different styles, right? You get those. It's gonna be really cool. So.
And just kind of before we move on right quick, I myself either. We're kind of too different a little bit because we both grew up together, we worked together and stuff like that. I didn't travel. I've worked in Cape Breton my whole career. I worked through the kitchens, ran my own bakery, and then I started to move more towards out front, serving, which I thought was a scary world, but kind of forced myself out front, really enjoyed it, and for the last 3 years now I ran a restaurant and now I'm running the Lakeside, and kind of getting that whole, being able to get my hands on into everything and really enjoying it. It's a really good path.
I love it when people don't think you can cook.
And people, when I get hired, they don't think I can cook.
Yeah.
And then when the line is drowning, the first thing I do is go back and then whip them back into shape.
Yeah.
With my eyes closed.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your husband cooks too.
And my husband is a pastry chef at the resort as well.
So,
Yeah.
it's a whole package.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so as you guys can see up here, obviously we host a ton of different style events too. That's one thing that I wanted to mention. We have this conference center, but we really allow the clients that want to use the center to make whatever environment they want out of that space. So it's family reunions, it's weddings, it's conferences, meetings, social events, you name it.
Yoga.
And sometimes all at the same time.
Yeah.
There's been days that we've had probably 5 events happening on the property at one time.
Yeah, it splits into 3 rooms. So, in the one room you can have the yoga class doing their thing, the next room is a business meeting, and the next room is a bus tour of 80-year-olds.
A wedding on the lawn.
All at the exact same time, different menus,
Yeah.
Lakeside Smash, we gotta run right over them.
Yeah.
And I put here too, many other unique culinary events because we really do see any event opportunity or any meeting opportunity, anything that we can sell that space for, we wanna try to sell a culinary experience with that. So we pride ourselves in our food and that is what keeps people coming back. We sell most of our weddings from people attending the wedding and they're blown away by the whole atmosphere and the food experience and just the ease of the whole situation. So like it sells itself in a way. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. All right, so yeah, these guys have kind of talked quite a bit about our products. We do have a huge emphasis on local, so local to Nova Scotia, local to Cape Breton, maybe local to the Dakin area in some circumstances. We want it to be fresh, so that's why we want to create as many unique specials as possible. We want to take everything in that fridge and try to make the best out of it, use every ounce of it for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, and we work really well with Cisco, so we're the resort there, so Cisco is at our door 3 times a week. So instead of ordering all this stuff, so you kind of have to lose your quality, we literally order like little bits at a time, so we always have fresh stuff coming through the door.
Fish 3 times a week.
Fish, we literally
Like
pay everything.
Never seen so much salmon.
So much salmon this year,
So
yeah.
much salmon.
All fresh, yeah.
And the last one here, I actually just recently changed this. I had there delicious. Well, obviously we want our food to be delicious, right? Everybody does. But I was thinking a bit more on that, and I thought, we're actually, what really is unique about us is we're distinct. So just getting back to that point where we serve people from all over the world, different walks of life, coming there for different reasons, people looking to get different things out of the resort. Maybe they're there to escape, maybe they're there to celebrate. So really our menus are kind of that culmination of, our front desk providing feedback, our servers providing feedback, the clients providing feedback, and it's merging all of those things into a unique menu that is, represents Inverary in Cape Breton, but also provides that familiarity. So we try to touch a little bit on all of those areas to appease. You can't please everyone, but we want to be
We're gonna try.
relatable. Not everybody loves a complete seafood menu, but we do want to have a heavy seafood influence. So we have quite a bit of that, but if you're not a seafood eater, what are you gonna have? Let's have something for them. So we try to balance between all of those things, which makes for a pretty cool menu.
It does.
So just kind of getting towards wrapping up here. Your co-op experience, we kind of have a a bit of a three-tier situation going on. First off, we want you all experiencing it. As Pat has said, as Matt has said, you're gonna be doing the work right alongside everybody else. We want you right in the thick of it, because how else are you really gonna build your skill set unless you get to do it yourself? Like coming back, or I don't know if you have to do kind of a summary report on your experiences, but wouldn't it be so much better to say, I did this or I did that, rather than I saw someone do this or they showed me how to do that? Like, it speaks much more about the experience if you can say, I did, I know how, like, I've learned that, that's the skill that you have and no one can take that away from you. So that's the first piece. The second piece is the coaching element, and that's where our great leaders come in, because they're going to help you refine that skill. So whatever it is, if it's your new skills, if it's, I don't know, you guys are the pros on that stuff, you know, whatever it be.
Your nice skills, your attention to detail, you know, your thought processing, that kind of stuff.
Timing is
Proteins,
huge.
I would say,
Timing.
proteins are probably, you know.
Proteins, yeah.
Have any of you guys worked in the industry yet? Yes, he's had
Mac
a
and-
little
yeah,
bit of
Mac is-
experience. So this work term, you guys are gonna come out of here feeling like a whole new person. Let me tell you. In a good way. You're gonna learn so much. I remember when I finished and went back to school, I felt like I was the man.
I
Right?
think with
I was so far from it.
The both of us, I will say, out of my career, working at the Celtic Lodge during my time and your time, that was where I pulled a lot of my experiences from.
Yeah.
So now that I'm the person giving it back, I know what I know what to look for, I know what I want to give back. Coming back to school and, you know, being like super proud of yourself because
Yeah.
you can do that stuff. Yeah.
And we're not gonna, you know, you'll see it a lot in some of these places. There's still that old school chef mentality where if you screw up, I'm gonna cuss you out in front of everyone and make you feel dumb, which is how I was taught. That's not what we're doing. Like, you can ask me anything. We got a 15-year-old who's learning how to cook, and he asks me most insane questions in the world. But now he can roast a piece of, you know, he can do roast beef better than I can.
And
So,
use a knife.
yeah, so I'm going at some herbs the other day, right? So ask us anything, right? We're not gonna,
We're
you
open
know,
books. What's the
yeah.
point of learning if you can't share it, right?
There's nothing worse than being scared to ask, you know,
Yeah.
for someone's input, right?
Yeah, we've all been there, and it's not fun.
No.
No. Yeah, the last piece is growing. So, as much as we would, you know, obviously love everyone to come work with us and, you know, continue with us, we fully expect that each of you will want to branch out and take whatever road, you know, or path you desire. And we feel that, you know, we can provide you with a great number of skills that you can carry on to actually build your career. So, yeah, yes, it's a co-op, it's just one piece of your life, but if you can kind of accelerate the skills that you're bringing along, you're just ranking yourself up, you know, quicker than the others. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. And that's it, I think. Yeah, thank you guys so much for hearing us out and getting to know us a bit. And I do have a sheet here. I'm gonna pass around. I'd love to get your like your name, your email, phone. If you are interested, if you just even want to chat more, maybe you just have questions for Pat or Matt. But if you'd like to keep in touch with us, leave us your name and your phone and your email. That would be great.
And the main